welcome to the Wing Podcast. I'm Chris.
And I'm Rachel.
And we've got Jennifer, or Jen, here with...
We're calling her Jen today. We've already discussed this.
Okay. Thank you.
Anytime.
Well, to introduce Jen, she's worked in the financial industry for more than 7 years. She's considered herself a retired extreme couponer. When her husband lost his job in 2008, she had to figure out a way to get a full-time job, provide for her family, and save money. She will share some of her secrets to success with us today.
Awesome. Welcome, Jen.
Yeah, thanks you guys for having me. I'm really excited to be able to share some of the things that have worked for my husband, Andy, and I. So thanks.
Yeah, of course. No, I have to know first before we even jump into any of these questions.
Okay.
As a mom myself and kids at home, I don't know if you have kids or not.
I do.
What in the heck did you do when your husband lost his job? Did you like freak out, or was it like a calm storm that came in?
No, it was pretty much a freak out. He was the sole breadwinner at the time. I was a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
Very scary. We thought his job was pretty stable. He'd been there for 28 years, worked at a local paper mill. So yeah, to say the least, a small freak out would be a way to describe it.
Okay. Okay. Just curious, because I was trying to picture like what I would do if my husband came home and told me that. And I think I would have kind of a meltdown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was panic set in. Basically what happened was he thought he was going into a meeting. 8:15, he called me in the morning. He had just started the meeting at 8:00 and said, I can't talk to you very long. Real quick, just wanted to tell you, honey, I just lost my job. I don't know any other information. And I'm like, okay, well, I love you too. We'll talk to you soon. I mean, what do you say to, a spouse, like, when you thought he was going to a meeting for the day and that was the phone call you got. So,
wow, man, I'm sorry. I can say though, I have been there before. My reaction was not like yours, but
yeah, it was, I guess you want to be supportive. I had the meltdown after I got off the phone with him because I knew he still had to be in that meeting. So I wanted to try to be supportive, even though I was totally freaking out inside. But everything, I always feel like everything happens for a reason. And the journey of where we were then to where we are now has been incredible. So it all worked out in the end, but at the time it wasn't fun.
I can completely understand that.
I've never lost a job because I worked 4 of them at one time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just one job. All right.
That's
we'll move
fine.
on to the next 3.
That's fine.
Yeah. Next, right?
Exactly. Yeah. That's one way to do it. Not suggested that you work for 4 jobs at the same time, but
Right.
that's a thing.
Apparently I get bored easily.
Yeah, for sure. I love it. Do you want to ask the first question, Chris?
Sure.
All right. I went rogue there. I'm sorry.
What's new?
Truth.
So the first question we got today is, when it comes to finances, what's one thing you could help either an entrepreneur, a single just person in their personal life, or a small business? What would you recommend?
The biggest thing is probably just to save something from every paycheck. Even a little bit is going to go a long way. And some people are like, well, I don't know if I'm able to really save. I don't make that much or whatever. But really look at it as saving is really giving back to yourself. And it's extremely important to do that. One of the ways that my husband and I do it is we have a certain amount that's set up every week to go into our checking. Otherwise, everything goes into savings from our paychecks.
Okay.
So because you don't see that as often, you're not as tempted to spend it. So just setting up something that's going to work for you. And that's worked for us over the years.
Is there like a certain amount that you suggest to, I mean, obviously you need to put things in your checking account for like mortgage and utilities and things like that. Is there a percentage that you guys have figured out, or is it just if it doesn't need to be in checking, it does not go?
That's correct. So I've kind of been able to figure out just over the years, I kind of know what we need every single week to go in there to cover, to cover maybe a bill that I know comes the first of the month or the fifth or whatever. So for us, it's just a set dollar amount. Everyone's going to be a little bit different. And you can kind of fluctuate. So many, credit unions, banks, things like that are really great about being flexible and allowing you to change that amount. So we did have to play with it a little bit.
All right. That's cool. I like that advice. That's good. Last podcast, in case you guys missed it, we were talking with Jason about profit first, and it's the same concept to pay yourself first and go from there. So
absolutely. And the other thing, just to kind of add something to that, not only do you want to save for right now in the present, but you also really want to save for the future as well. Because obviously we all want to retire someday, right? We don't want to be working 4 jobs like Chris does for the rest of our lives as much as, we want to be energetic and do that. So it's really important too to, find, whether it's an IRA, a Roth IRA, those sorts of things to be able to put in so that you have something for the future. So just to kind of throw that out there as well.
That's great. Yeah. And Chris and I work with a lot of creative entrepreneurs. And so it is a lot of like one time, sorry, I'm losing my voice, guys, one time or like big paychecks, and disciplining yourself to take that money aside for you is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because we don't want to be doing this when we're like 65 or 70.
Right.
Cool. So Jen, how would you explain like what finances are to somebody if this is the first time that people are kind of talking about it? I mean, everyone likes to pretend like they know what it is, but what do you define it as?
Really, my definition, I think, is pretty simple. It's finances is everything from paychecks to bills to, even savings or, retirement, whatever it is. It's just the whole ball of wax when it comes to money, whatever you can possibly think of that you would spend money on. I guess that's how I look at it.
Okay. That makes sense.
I mean, I could always get real complicated, but it just seems like for someone like my daughter who's 20, she just graduated from college and just got her first job. That's how I would explain it to her. Well, it's just everything, whether it's a bill, your paycheck, your retirement, your insurance, whatever.
Okay.
So essentially it's like a budget. You figure out what you need, where your money's going to go, where it's coming in.
Yep, exactly.
So like your personal accountant line, or what they call is line by line accounting.
I have no idea, Chris. But sure, that sounds good.
Sure.
It sounds good.
Well, there's several different kinds.
It is. Yeah, it is kind of like that, where you kind of are your own accountant. You have to figure out what works for your family with the amount of money that you have coming in. Some people even put like cash, like they'll take cash, especially when you first start out, and make envelopes to put it in, and then that sometimes helps with budgeting. So
what's cash?
Yeah, right. Credit cards. Put credit cards in each thing. I don't know.
No, okay, no, don't do that.
Did I just tell you how old I was then with that, Chris? That cash. We used to use cash.
We'll just set up several debit accounts and put a debit card in each envelope.
There you go.
Right.
That is okay. That is okay.
I don't know if your bank would like you after that. But.
Yeah.
Hey, that's okay. Lots of banks to choose from.
Right.
Okay, so is there anything that you want to add about the topic of business or personal finances? Because you kind of have a background in both worlds.
I guess when it comes to personal finances, I think we always hear about people are always the biggest fight or argument that spouses or partners have is about finances, about money, and how maybe it's spent. So I think working with and communicating with your partner is extremely important. And, especially like in our situation when Andy lost his job, it's so important to talk about what your specific situation is. And then obviously reviewing it as often as necessary, with a job change for me coming up, that's going to be important. Our job change, when he lost his job, you just want to be communicating regularly. So I would say that on the personal side of things. The business side, or when I worked in the financial industry, I think this kind of goes back to what I talked to a little bit before when it came to retirement. So just making sure that you're having those conversations regularly with a financial representative or even someone at your credit union or bank. I mean, now they have people there as a service. So just making sure that you're constantly communicating.
I like that. Yeah. Open communication about every dollar that's coming in and every dollar that's going out.
Absolutely.
That's huge. Cool.
Trying to figure out where we were.
This is your question, Chris. You should know this.
Well, let's just say one of them was inside this question. Do you have any recommendations for, let's say, materials for anybody to learn from? Say like books, podcasts, radio shows, or website resources you use?
Well, I everyone has an opinion, right?
Yeah.
But we want to hear yours.
Mine, okay. Well, but really looking at, because each family or each situation is unique. So again, going back to communicating, but for us, it's been finding a financial representative that we actually trust that can take a look at where we are now and, okay, we want to be here. This is when we want to retire. And just being open and honest about what your goals are now and what you want to accomplish in the future. So I think the most important thing is to find someone who can help you with your finances, especially with retirement. If you can't tell, that's where I kind of specialized in. I worked at a call center for 8 years, and it was all about retirement. And so I think for us, it was just finding a really great financial representative through a local company, a big Fortune 500 company here in the area. And he's really helped quite a bit, helped my mother as well. And made my mother be very successful on a very small amount of money that we had growing up. So
okay. And now, can I ask? I'm going to go rogue here again.
Okay.
Since you have this financial background, I'll ask you because no one else is asking these questions. When I want to invest or save for retirement, how much money do I need to bring when I show up, or do I just bring whatever I have? And how does that work?
Okay, so part of it,
I guess, okay, like in my mind, I feel like I have to walk in with like bags of cash, like, like here's $100,000. Now what do I do? Can I come in with like $100 or 500? Like, what's the laughing? What?
Well, I think that kind of, it depends on what you're going to get into. Because like mutual funds, if you invest in a mutual fund, that's going to be completely different than if you're investing in, let's say, an annuity. So I don't want to be vague here because I want to help people as much as I can, but it really depends on, what can you afford as well? Can you max out your Roth every year? Can you do 6,500 if you're over 50 or 5,500 if you're under 50, those sorts of things. But it's mainly bringing, do you have a mortgage? So like when we met with our financial representative, he's like, hey, well, bring something to show what your balance is on your mortgage. What's in your checking? What's in your savings? Do you already have retirement funds? what do you want to be a millionaire when you retire, or do you want just enough to keep you comfortable? What are your plans in retirement? So those are all kind of things that you want to sit down and talk to your spouse, obviously, before you get there. Also, having kids, obviously, do you want to do a 529 plan, which is savings for college for your kids? Because if your kids are older, like my baby just is going to be 21 this year, so I don't really have kids that I'm supporting necessarily anymore.
Okay.
So that's also something to keep in mind. Savings, for college, and how much do you have? If you've got little ones, if you have a baby that might be in diapers, you might not be able to save as much as maybe someone like us, where we're not quite empty nesters because she's still here, but she's working. You know what I mean? So we probably have a little bit more to play with than when the girls were little. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, life comes in swings like that too. So
yeah, yep, exactly. And then also just having that financial representative in your life to make sure that you're following what the guidelines are for the government, because obviously you don't want to have a issue there. You don't want to have any tax problems because you contributed too much, or
you could lose that money really fast.
That's right. Yep. So
yeah, I don't think anybody looks good in a federal prison.
Yeah, no, probably not.
No.
And orange isn't my color, so
no.
Yeah.
I can tell just by your skin tone. Orange would be bad for you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Kind of going off topic there too. I mean, there's so much that you can invest in nowadays besides an IRA, Roth IRA. There's money market, mutual funds, bonds, stocks, CDs. You can be an angel investor. There's even crowdsource investing now too, where there's a website out there that you can contribute $20 to somebody in a third world developing country, and they take that out as a loan, and then you get a certain percentage back. You can put your money just about anywhere. That's where the financial representative comes in very handy, so you don't lose that money. Otherwise, like research too. Make sure you know where it's going. I dabble with stocks and ETFs and that myself, but I use an app on the phone called Stash, STASH. So it takes $10 out a week and throws it into a stash account. And then I can invest it in ETFs or bonds, or they have a money market. They got a IRA fund, or an retirement fund, as they call it. And pretty much what they do is they take the terminology and they dumb it down for the individual user to understand. And I mean, I could trade stocks for Apple computers or Visa or pretty much whatever I want. McDonald's, Facebook, they're all in there. Otherwise, ETFs of like multiple companies inside of one fund. So the mutual funds and that stuff, they're all there. So you can play around with that stuff, and then as you gain money, then you can have it automatically transferred over to an IRA or a retirement account. And they also have their own Visa debit cards where you can get cash back in the form of stocks. So they put money back into your account for you to invest it. So like think of it like your cash back bonus on your Discover card. That's pretty much what you're doing. And then they do a cashback bonus. And then they also have quarterly a list of different retailers or companies that if you shop at, you can get a bonus percentage back. Like sometimes it's almost 7 or 8% from one company if you shop to them. So it's kind of like Ebates for investing.
What? We are in no way affiliated with them, guys. We're not getting a kickback here. Chris is just really passionate.
It's awesome. I just learned something too. I didn't know some of that.
I didn't know any of that.
Wow, that's good to know.
It's a hobby.
It's a
Yeah,
hobby.
yeah.
That
Another
actually
job,
makes me
Chris.
money. It's a
Yeah,
hobby that
yeah,
makes me money.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
There you go.
Those are always nice.
So, Jennifer, do you have like a mastermind or a mentor that you look up to?
Um, Now if my mom watches this for some reason, I hope she's sitting at this point. So, I know everybody has like this big, maybe this, someone in Hollywood that they look up to, but really when it comes to finances, I really do look up to my mom. Um, she was the sole supporter for our family growing up. My father was disabled.
Okay.
And he had kidney failure and was on dialysis, and unfortunately was unable to work outside of the home. So there was kind of a role reversal there. And we had extremely high medical bills. And she saved and invested everything that she possibly could. And now has more money than she ever made over her entire lifetime because of the good choices that she made, the wonderful person that she worked with, the financial representative, who just really provided a lot of guidance and advice to her on where to put her money. So really, it has to be my mom. She still is thrifty. My mom's 75, and she's still working. She has a huge eBay business that she runs, and she just keeps doing whatever she can do. And so she has to be really my mentor when it comes to the financial portion of things.
Okay, hold on. Your mom's on eBay?
Yes, actually,
She's awesome.
my daughter.
Okay.
Yeah, she actually really started getting into eBay, way back. But then when she bought a house, she paid for her house with her eBay money. Like it's like I mean, she is so good at this stuff, and it's a family thing. My aunt does it. Taylor, my daughter, and I do it. My sister and my nephew do it. It's just kind of a fun little thing that we do just to have fun.
Wow.
See, find all the stuff that we can find at different thrift stores and
Okay.
in our basement, all that stuff. So
Oh, man.
I've heard of
it's
people who
fun.
do this.
I've heard of this.
Yeah.
Now you met one, Chris.
Yeah, now I met somebody who does this.
Yeah, it's so much fun. When it's going to be more difficult than it's worth, obviously we won't do it. But gosh, I think Taylor and I have been doing it 4 or 5 years now at least.
Okay.
So, and we still get the thrill when we have the ka-ching come through on our phone. So,
Hey, that's an amazing sound.
It is absolutely. One thing that I hope you guys don't mind if I kind of go back to something.
Go for it.
About considering myself a retired extreme couponer.
Yes, I want to know about this too, because I've never figured out the steps to do it. So
I really have to get back into couponing, really.
Okay.
But I actually saved us so much money over a couple of years. I bought a vehicle and put carpeting in our house.
From couponing.
Yes. And I mean, it was, I had kind of a system going.
Okay.
And usually every Sunday I would go out and I'd buy 4 papers, and my daughter and I would clip coupons. We'd go through ads to figure out, okay, what stores can we get this from or this from? And everything goes in cycles with couponing.
Okay.
It was something my mom did actually when we were younger, way back when rebates were a big thing versus the couponing.
Okay.
So she used to do the rebates, she did a little bit of coupons, and then also did a lot of canning so that we had food all year round.
Okay.
But the couponing part of it, it's just a matter of watching the cycles, watching ads, and spending a little bit of extra time on the weekend to figure out where you're going to go. What I used to do is I would never pay for feminine products because I would get all these gift cards from Target, and I would save them up and then buy some of the stuff that maybe some of the coupons weren't as great for.
Okay.
I'm just now using up the end of my stockpile that I had in my mother's basement because we had no more room here at our house with paper products and laundry detergent.
Okay.
So I had enough that lasted us about 4 years.
Wow.
So I know, crazy.
Wow.
It was literally a part-time.
Oh, are you still there?
What was called double days.
Okay.
And they would double your coupons on certain days, and you could do, I think it was up to like 10 transactions or something. So I would literally go with my mom, and we'd have 2 carts, and we'd separate stuff out in the carts per transaction.
Okay.
And I would pay like pennies on a dollar. I mean, it was like next to nothing I would pay for each transaction. So yeah, it's
Okay. And now when you say that stuff goes through cycles, what is that? Like, what does that mean to someone who's never couponed before?
yes. So for instance, around July 4th,
Okay.
you're going to find that paper plates, napkins, those sorts of things, you're going to find those coupons for. And that's when the finding who's got the best deals this week, taking those coupons and shopping for those. Typically in the fall, you're going to see a lot of like soups. Soups are a big thing in the fall. And then you get into like right before Christmas time, they're going to do pies. Believe it or not, there's always like this big thing of pies, which kind of makes sense because you're probably going to have family over for Thanksgiving, Christmas, those sorts of things. Okay. So that's what I kind of mean by cycles. There's going to be certain products that are going to be on sale during certain times of the year. And that's when you kind of want to plan for your building your stockpile.
Sorry. We're having a
Gary V's talking to you there.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm trying to get an Instagram live up in here, and it's not working. IGTV. Gary V is taking over IGTV. We cannot get on. Okay, so that makes sense. So it's more like seasonal things that cycle through. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool.
And that also helps with meal planning too.
Okay.
That was a big part of what we did as well. Was 30 days plan out your meals so that you can plan your coupons around that. I know it sounds really weird, but
no,
it worked
doesn't.
for us.
It doesn't.
It was so. I could make an entire meal and plus have leftovers for under $2 with the couponing and things like that.
What?
Yeah, it's amazing. I figured out a way to do this so that it, like I said, you get gift cards from Target when you buy like 3 Pantene or whatever, and you'll get a $5 gift card.
Okay.
Save that for something that maybe you don't always get coupons for. Love your family a lot, because I'll tell you, my mom, she lives 5 houses away from us, and because of her being a little on the more mature side, what she does is she buys us a half a cow for a year.
Okay.
So we never pay for meat. So because we help her with helping her with snow blowing if she needs yard work. Okay. She need a light bulb changed because I don't want her getting up on the ladder. Okay. She gives us a call, so we help her out. So those are things too that you can even kind of use the barter system. Okay. With maybe things that you know that you need.
That's really smart. Is your mom adopting?
I can ask. I know, she really is a great woman.
I'm just asking because I think, like, all of our listeners just had the exact same question, but
yeah. I don't know. I'm not giving any numbers out. She's mine. No, no, she's
okay.
But another thing that we did too, especially after Andy lost his job, was people would always say, "Well, what do you need? What do you have for Christmas?" And a lot of people don't like to give gift cards out, but that was something that we really found was helpful to us as well, that helped us save money. Was, well, where do you like to shop? Well, this is where I like to shop. And they would do gift cards, give us gift cards. And that helped a lot too.
Oh, okay. But that makes sense though, because people can actually use gift cards for real items that they really need instead of the random like sweaters and things.
Yes.
love it. Very cool.
Well, and isn't there going back to the extreme couponing? So when the ad comes out, usually the item is not on sale, and you usually get what, a year to use those. Would you say 90 days to a year to use those coupons? A lot of the expiration dates are set for a while out. So then when the item comes on sale and you can use the coupon, that's probably your best bet, I'm guessing.
Well, typically, that's another thing. Ads, they must have some connection or way to figure out, but usually the ads will go with the coupons that are out or coming out. So you'll notice like soups in the fall, usually there's a bunch of soups that go on sale. Like maybe you can get 5 for $5 for, a brand of soup. And then you'll have a coupon that'll be, you get 40 cents off of 5 cans of soup. So typically the ads in the stores will go hand in hand with the coupons. Most of the time.
Most of the time.
Hypothetically.
I'm thinking
yes.
Thinking back to when my wife used to watch TLC all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because
oh yeah, they had that show, right?
Besides Hoarders, they
Well-
have
Well, they had that extreme couponing.
yeah, something like that.
I never emptied shelves though. I'll just put that out there. I never did that. I always made sure I left enough for the next person.
Roll through with 4 carts full.
Yeah.
That is considerate of you.
Husband goes
thank
in
you.
one. Husband goes in one aisle. You go in one. Your daughter goes in another. Your mom takes the last cart.
Right? Yeah. I mean, really what you can do is you can walk in and out of the store and that's, they don't know where you've been. Just make sure not to go through the same line.
Oh, is that like okay, hold on.
That's one
the
way.
key is to not go through the same line.
Right. If you're going to go back in the store because you want to get something, that maybe there's a limit on, don't go through the same line.
Got it. Okay.
They might recognize you. No.
Wait, I've seen you before 10 minutes
Yes.
ago.
Yes.
Right.
I don't know
You
what's
bought
trying
300 deodorants. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of like when you're at
No.
Costco. You're like, I want another sample of beef jerky, but like, can I take
Yeah.
another sample or do I need to put on a sweatshirt?
Yeah. Exactly. That's
Just saying.
yeah.
Those are my real life questions.
Yeah.
Maybe Costco will chime in. Can we get an answer from that?
Right.
Yeah. No, just so you guys know, I never really did go in and out of the store. I was always pretty honest. I just want to put that out there.
All right. So if someone is about to start this, be honest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Awesome. I love it. Cool. Do you have any other questions that you can think of, Chris? I think we have all the questions answered from people who chimed in through the live. So, yeah. Cool. I'm excited. This was great talking to you. I feel like I've learned a lot. I don't know if I'm ready to start couponing yet, but I'm like definitely thinking about it now. You got my wheels turning.
Yeah, experiment with it. Even if like me, I would buy 4 papers every week.
Okay.
Start out small and, just kind of take your time at it, kind of figure out what works best for you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fun and it's somewhat addicting. So be ready for that.
Okay. That's actually good advice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks for hanging out with us, Jen. I really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me. I always love to be able to tell people, kind of share what we've done and what's worked for us. I feel like my husband and I have been pretty successful thus far. So, thanks, Chris, for asking me to do this. And Rachel, thanks for having me too. I've loved talking to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if the listeners want to get a hold of you, should we just send them to our Facebook page since you're on there and you like our posts and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. That would be fine. And I'll take a look out there if there's questions. I can try to answer them as best as I can.
Awesome. That's all we ask.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Yeah, you guys have a good night.
Yep.